Okay, we're ready when you are. Hello, as chair of the Northampton School Board, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by the governor, a result of COVID-19 pandemic, and in accordance with the governor's emergency order number 12 pursuant to executive order 2020-04, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there's no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, I am confirming that we are providing public access to the meeting by telephone with additional access possibilities by video or other electronic means. We are utilizing Zoom for this electronic meeting. All members of the Northampton School Board have the ability to communicate contemporaneously during this meeting through this platform. And the public has access to contemporaneously listen and, if necessary, participate in this meeting through dialing the following phone number, 646-876-9923, and webinar ID 950-3054-5769, or by clicking the link on the website. B, providing public notice of the necessary information for accessing this meeting. We previously gave notice to the public of the necessary information for accessing the meeting, including how to access the meeting using Zoom or telephonically. Instructions have also been provided on the website of the SAU 21 office, www.sau21.org. C, providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there's a problem with access. If anyone has a problem accessing this meeting, please call 603-926-8992, extension 103, or email revans@sau21.org. D, adjourning the meeting if the public is unable to access the meeting. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting will be adjourned and rescheduled. Please note that all votes are taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call vote. Let's start the meeting by taking a roll call in attendance. When each member states their presence, please also state whether there's anyone in the room with you during this meeting, which is required by under the right to know law.
Greg Duffy.
Present and alone.
Martin Tavishian.
Present and alone.
Nermina Peterson.
Present with family.
And Tom Von Jess.
Present alone.
I have the roll call taken.
Thank you, Rhonda. Okay. So having spoken separately to our, with some school board members, we have elected to have a meeting here today so that we can discuss our open board seat. And we've decided to do so based on the information that was provided by the people interested with the intent on making a recommendation in today's meeting. So I'll open it up. We have two candidates that have submitted information and requests. I think everyone has that information and the ability to have read it and to reviewed it. So I will open up the floor to any conversation if anyone wants to begin. No one wants to begin. I'll begin then.
I was practicing stepping back to let Nermina and Martin voice anything. I certainly will chime in, but I'm willing to listen first.
I think it's great that two people stepped up to volunteer and to be considered. I think that's a good thing for us to have two choices and two people to choose from.
Okay.
I guess I have a quick question on appointees and the issue of them running for re-election. Is that a consideration? Is that an issue or not really? Like,
when you say issue, what would your concerns be?
I mean, in one of the emails I've read, and I'm trying to think here who it was. It might have been Tom, I think. If they run for re-election, are we appointing somebody for the time being without that, or so what? I mean, is there a problem if they do run for the spot come in March?
So no, this is purely an open seat due to a resignation. So that is completely independent of the election. So by no means is the person who gets appointed by the school board during this process, are they automatically in for the next election So in
So whether
March,
they choose to run or not, it doesn't really matter.
there'll be there. So according to our schedule of elections, there's 2 open seats, no matter what. And so
Okay.
those people can choose to reapply. And sitting board members would have to choose to reapply as well. But there's 2 open seats coming up. We're temporarily filling the one, but come March, those 2 seats will open up all the way again.
Nermina, if I may,
Yep.
Greg, Nermina, it's a great question, and it actually was in another district recently where they had, I think, 3 applicants, and they've already have 2 new members. That was a really important consideration for them in their discussion of because they interviewed the people, and some said they weren't interested in running, and others said they were, and so that was actually part of their discussion about that in terms of the overall health, if you will, maybe the wrong word, of their board.
Mm-hmm. So part of it is you're creating an incumbent, right? So if this board without an election appoints somebody to fill the gap, and then that person has an intention on running again, you've created an incumbent that may have an advantage over someone that you didn't choose, right? So that was part of my point about whether or not we should consider whether or not people have an intention of running again. Because if we had, say, hypothetically, we had 3 people that applied, and we did, right? We had Brian, we had Cindy, and we had a 3rd person that applied, but after the fact, after it was closed.
Mhm.
All of a sudden, if you're picking one person that then has a,
No,
No, we did
Tom,
not.
we've only received 2 letters.
we had a 3rd that came after the fact.
Nobody
No.
submitted anything.
No,
And
not
that's-
quite
that's-
officially, no.
Okay.
Just to clarify, the official process wasn't followed. The 3rd
Correct.
person did not notify the SAU as was dictated, as was asked by the
Right.
the way.
So therefore, it doesn't exist.
Okay, got it. So, and again, it was a hypothetical, right? So so I'm not arguing that we only have 2 applicants. There's no question about that. I understand that. The point is that there could be a situation where the board, by appointing somebody, creates an advantage for that person as an incumbent upon re-election.
Yeah.
That was the only part of my comment.
Yeah, I mean, that makes total sense in this discussion, I guess. But looking at the candidates and receiving that other 2nd email, including their resume from the gentleman from SNHU, I mean, to me, they seem both valid and have best interest of our school and kids in mind. So not that I know either one of them personally, other than what I've read.
Okay. Tom, any additional?
Yeah, so I think that I'll not only share my thoughts, but I'll share my opinion in terms of which way I'm leaning. So 2 highly qualified candidates, 2 people that are volunteering for our community, again, Nermina, with the best interest of the school at heart. When I look at both of them, I see Mr. Bellinger as a potential, and I hope he does run for election for a seat as we come up. And I think he alluded to that in his note. From a short-term perspective, having worked with Cindy Burke, knowing that she knows the process and the system, knowing that we're in the middle of budget season, my opinion is to vote for Cindy Burke, bring her in, knowing that it's just going to be the learning curve is going to be right there for her. She's going to pick it up. She can contribute for the next 6 months. My understanding, she doesn't have any plan to run for re-election, but she can fill in. Knowing that she knows the ropes. The other thing that really gives us an advantage with Cindy is she was on the board, had a hiatus, and now is coming back on the board. And I think she can provide us with some really good insights about where we've made progress and where we still need to focus. So I think she's got a unique lens to help us move things forward over the next 6 months. That's my opinion.
I would support that. Having somebody come in, I suppose, especially in these cases where we're trying to fill a void for either a short period of time or, rather she choose to or not to run come March, to have somebody with experience and knowledge to move us forward, jump right in, that'd be a huge asset.
I'm also where Tom is. I think given where we are in the state of the school year, that's going to be different and challenging enough for anyone that comes on who hasn't been involved with this since last March, and learning budget process and just the overall ins and outs of being a school board member. I think it's an advantage in the short term to have Cindy in this seat, and we're very fortunate that she is interested in helping out the community. So I would support a nomination for Cindy as well.
I think having somebody that's familiar with the budget process for this SAU and that's been through it before, very helpful to jump into the middle of budget season, be able to seamlessly come on board in the middle of this process is very beneficial for all parties involved.
Now, having said all that, I want to also recognize that Brian's application and experience are phenomenal. His interest is really appreciated. And, I hope if he watches this recording that he really considers strongly running this next March for one of the open seats, because, we could use great people, and not selecting him in this short-term period is not a reflection on the quality of his candidacy.
I would agree. I think Cindy is stepping up to help us out. I don't think she has intentions to get back on the school board as a full-time. So I think he's a very strong candidate, and I would encourage, we've gone through a few years here where people have not run for school board, and it's been pretty thin. So I would love for some more community participation. That would be fantastic. Get some fresh perspectives. Okay, I think at this point then we would look for a nomination then. I believe on your board docs it is laid out, right? Yes, it is.
So I do not have my board docs in front of me. If someone else would like to make the nomination, feel free. Oh, I got him back.
Nominate Cindy Burke to fill the vacant seat on the school board until the March 2021 election.
Second.
Okay, further discussion. Rhonda, is that an okay motion? It wasn't exactly this as you were written.
Yeah, I just have, motion to appoint Cindy Burke to fill the unexpired term of Aaron Stanton expiring at the March 2021 election.
Yeah, I'm happy with the way Martin presented. I just want to make sure it jives with.
I would just have to I would just need to listen to the recording to edit it, because I was like filling in her name on here. So.
All right, any further?
Sorry, I couldn't see both screens.
That's okay. Any further discussions? All in favor?
We need to do a roll call.
You're gonna do a roll call on the, okay.
Greg Duffy,
Yes.
Martin Tavishian,
Yes.
Nermina Peterson,
Yes.
and Tom Von Jess.
Yes.
I have the vote recorded.
Thank you, Rhonda. So the next step is for whom? Me to contact Cindy to get her with Sue Buchanan, the town clerk, to get her sworn in?
Yes.
Got it.
And then once she does get sworn in, make sure you have Sue contact the SAU office, pretty much Nancy Tuttle and myself, to let us know that that's taken place. Once that happens, we can issue Cindy an email address. I can get her set up with board docs again, so that then she'll have access to the information.
Okay. All right, I think we're done.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
That was easy.
I need a
We need a
motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for pulling this together so quickly.